Well, hello! Happy Tuesday! Welcome back, writers. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. I'm actually coming to you from my basement again today because it's awfully busy in my house. People are running around, the puppy Milo is a little crazy, so I figured I would come down here where it's a little messy, but it's nice and quiet, and I can talk to you about something that I'm so excited to share with you. So, like I just mentioned, Milo's been a little crazy lately. How many of you have puppies that like to nip at you and kind of bite a little bit? Yeah, so you know. Okay, so Milo has been kind of gnawing on everybody a lot lately, and we're teaching him to try and gnaw on the right things. And so yesterday, Franny was playing with Milo, and he wouldn't stop biting at her pant leg. And she was kind of complaining about it, saying, Mom, when's he going to stop this? And Jonathan said, well, Franny, from his perspective, he's just playing with you. And you know what Franny said? She said, what's perspective? Can you say that word with me real quick? Perspective. It's a fun, juicy word, isn't it? Perspective. Well, what it means is how you see things. And that got me thinking about what we're doing as writers in our journals and all the writing we've been doing about this moment in time that we are in. And so I thought I would come to you today, writers, and talk with you a little bit more about perspective. Now, perspective is how you, that's you, it's how you see, think, and feel. So we think about Milo. How does he see things? He sees us as a bunch of big humans playing with him. He's thinking that we're playing with him, and he's feeling excited. So perspective is how you, as a writer, see, think, and feel. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how this is going to be a part of your journal writing for today. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So I use the example of Milo, but now what I want to talk about is how we as writers, how we as people see, think, and feel, and what that means, what our perspective is. Well, sometimes we think about our perspective as the way that we see things and how it's affecting us. Like, gosh, this time that we're in right now of being at home in quarantine, we're seeing it through our third grade eyes. We've been writing about it in our journals about what it looks like for you in this moment in time. We're thinking about what we wish we could be doing instead. And we're feeling sad sometimes. Maybe sometimes we're feeling happy, but we're having all these feelings. But your journal is unique to you. And your perspective is also unique to you. Just like Milo's perspective is unique to him. Now, my perspective is also unique to me as an adult, as a teacher. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more. As a writer, you may have heard this before. You may have heard your parents say, you need to flip your perspective. Well, I'm going to teach you a little bit today about how we're going to do that in our writing, because as a writer, you have the power. You have the power to flip your perspective. And what do I mean by that? Well, you may have heard this phrase before. Bright side. There's always a bright side, right? If it's raining out, well, the bright side is we get to stay inside and do puzzles, or stay inside and watch movies. There's always a bright side. You may have heard that expression before. What that means is not literally a bright side of something, but it means that there's always a happier way to look at something. There's always a good part to something. And this chart will be on our Google Slides so you can refer to it today. So I'm just going to put these up here for now for you. So another phrase that adults like to use is two sides of a coin. Two sides of a coin. Well, now that doesn't mean literally a coin with two sides, right? No, what this means is there's always two ways of looking at something. So while maybe on the one hand, we're feeling like we really miss all of our friends, well, the other side of that coin is that we get to have all this time with our family. And we're doing some really, really special, meaningful work in our journals. So there's two sides to a coin. Again, not really a coin itself, but just thinking about how with everything that we think and feel and see, there's another way to look at it also. That one up here too. Another, and this is one of my favorites. I've been using this a lot lately in my own journal writing. is the silver lining. It comes from a phrase of every cloud has a silver lining. Well, what that really means, writers, is that even when there's something that is happening that is making us feel sad or is making us feel worried or scared, there's always something in there that's worth taking note of or worth paying attention to. There's always a silver lining. Right, Jonathan? Johnny just popped in during my lesson. So there's always a silver lining to everything, right? Yes, he's agreeing. Okay, so I'm going to put that over here. That means, for example, I miss being at school with you, but the silver lining is I get to see Jonathan all of the time, and that's kind of special, right? So one way that I want to talk to you about what you're going to be doing in your journals today, one thing I want to talk to you about is that I want you to think about the power of flipping your perspective. Now, what that means is you're not going to be holding your perspective and flipping it over. What that means is you're going to be thinking about something that's making you feel a certain way. And maybe it's making you feel kind of down. I'm going to start with one that I have, which is no school. I'm thinking that you're probably all doing this right now and connecting with me on that. Maybe you're even doing one of these. No school. Now, I have an arrow here. And the reason I put that arrow there is because I'm going to take this perspective, this feeling, this thing that I'm thinking and feeling right now, and I'm going to flip it and think about that bright side, a bright side, or another side of that coin, or a silver lining in that, is that we get to have all of these online hangouts. And by that, I'm referring to things like our Zoom meetings. I'm going to put this right here. I'm flipping my perspective. I'm taking my negative, sad feelings about no school and flipping it and thinking about how fun it has been to hang out with you on Zooms. Now, that's not our favorite way to be, but for example, Jonathan just popped in here. That doesn't happen very often. Sometimes I've gotten to see your dogs in the background. I've seen your rooms. I've seen your bunk beds. I know, Ashley, you always come to me from your bunk bed. I've even been able to see your siblings and your parents, all while we're learning together. And that, writers, is something that does not normally happen during a typical learning environment. And I know that you know that. So that's something that I'm thinking, you know, once we go back to school, I'm going to kind of miss seeing your bedrooms and seeing what you're eating for breakfast, or all those real things that have to do with your real lives. And that's been really special for me as your teacher to be able to see that. And maybe you've enjoyed that too, seeing Milo, seeing my kids coming in and out, maybe Mr. Richards popping in. It's been an extra special sort of way of communicating with each other that we don't normally get. So again, I'm flipping that perspective from really missing school to, wow, we've been hanging out online and that's kind of cool. Another thing that I know a lot of you have had, I know especially some of my friends in my class, miss birthday parties. I know Luke and Ashton, Ashley, who else had birthdays? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I know a lot of us have had birthdays, Max and Theo, missed birthday parties. Well, something kind of fun though from missed birthday parties that I had never experienced before, drive-by parties. Mr. Richards had a birthday last week, and you know what we did? We had a drive-by party for all of our friends. That's something that we've never done before. So while this is making me feel kind of sad and a little bit down, I'm going to flip my perspective today, and I'm going to write about that drive-by birthday party and how special that was. Another is being home all the time. This is a perspective that I'm having lately that I'm starting to feel like a little tired of. How about you? A little tired of it, right? Home all the time. Not really having a chance to put on my normal fancy clothes and my makeup and my hair. Looking like this. I'm home all the time. But you know what? There are a few silver linings there. Just a few. I've got 3 actually. Milo is one. I've had all this time to welcome a new puppy into my family and to play with him and train him. Oops. And my own kids, I've had time to be with them and get to know them again in a way that I haven't for a while, especially my oldest, Ben. He's always so busy with school and sports that now we've actually had time to have really good conversations together. And that doesn't typically happen. And the bottom one, of course, everyone in my family has been enjoying, is the cooking. Yes, I've told you about how much Franny loves avocados. Well, I've been cutting up a lot of avocados lately. I've also been looking up recipes. Maddie's mom gave me some great recipes. I've been enjoying cooking more because typically when I'm so busy with school, I don't cook as much. So it's been really fun. So again, I'm taking my bummer of its perspective about being home all the time, and I'm flipping it and thinking about all the great things that we get to do. And last, I want to talk to you about one of the most sad kind of feelings that I'm having right now, a perspective that I know a lot of you are having too. Are you ready? Get those connections ready. I just know you're gonna agree with me. Yep, say it with me. End of year celebrations. This doesn't feel fair, does it? It feels like we were robbed of some very important, special moments that we look forward to all year long. I know you're looking forward to seeing me stand on my head. I know you're looking forward to those popsicle parties. I know you're looking forward to yearbooks. I know you're looking forward to making a memory book. So many things that we had planned that are not going to happen, and that is a real feeling, and it's okay to be sad. But I want you to think about something. I'll put this perspective over here. I want you to think about something that looking back years from now, or maybe even next year, you're going to realize that you had more time with family. Now, writers, would I rather be with you at school? You betcha, 100%. But, like I mentioned before, this has given me a chance to be with my family in a way that I haven't in a long time. And for you, more importantly, it's given your parents a chance to have extra time with you. It's given you a time to be with your siblings and your pets and read more books and get to know your parents in more fun and silly ways, right? You've had so much fun with family. Now I know we're all ready to be away from our families. So am I. But I want you to think about how it's okay to flip your perspective and take something that's sad and look for that silver lining, that other side of the coin, that flipping of your perspective, right? So, writers, today I'm going to challenge you to look at something that's making you feel a little sad. You can borrow one of mine if you want. Think of something that's making you feel a little down. And I want you to go to your journal. You can go to your Slice of Life journal, or you can go to a Google Doc. And I want you to name that thing that's making you feel down. I want you to write about it. But what I want you to do, writers, is I want you to say it with me. Flip that perspective. And I want you to find something in there that makes you feel happy. I want you to find that silver lining. Find that bright side. Find that other side of the coin. And I want you to write about it. All right? I'm going to challenge you today. I'm going to challenge you to flip your perspective, find something to be happy about, and write long and strong. Writers, you know where to find me. If you need help on this, you can always come to office hours. You can email me. You can send your Google Doc to me and ask me a question in there if you want. But please, no matter what, writers, always, always just keep what? Keep writing. See you soon.